Now check this, man. I want to talk about Jadakiss's "Why" joint. Possibly one of the biggest songs that Jadakiss ever put out, which was surprisingly going out of his element. Because when you listen to Jadakiss' first album, he was basically hitting on every cylinder known. The clubs, the streets, the backpack niggas, all that. He never reached the conscious route. And it seemed like to me that they kind of wanted Styles to be more so the conscious one of the group. So Jadakiss putting out "Why" it's very what I would consider rhetorical, because the way he did it, he asking questions, and it's a lot of questions that a lot of people want to know, and it's very relatable. And it came out at a perfect time around the election cycle because people were fed up with the George Bush regime. So he putting that song out was a rally cry to what was going on with the world. Because the Iraq war at that time, or the Afghanistan war, it was sucking the country dry and people were feeling it. So you had Puffy coming out there with the Vote or Die campaign, and we're thinking he's trying to campaign people to go out there and vote to get Bush out of there. Eminem had put out Mosh, and Jadakiss had Why. Rappers were getting more politically charged at the time. But what made Jadakiss's joint stand out was it was relatable. And he was kicking some real deep game. Like the first opening lines. Why is the industry designed to keep the artist in debt? Then he's asking, and why them dudes ain't right if they ain't party is set? And why did they ain't never get it poppin' with they party to death? Yeah, and why they gonna give you life for a murder, then turn around only give you 8 months for a burner? Then he asked, why is a brother up north better than Jordan that can't get that break? Now that's a dope line there, because you go into the black tops throughout America, you see a lot of people that were nicer than Jordan. A lot of untapped potential in the hoods. And he touched on that. Then he asked the question, why they killed Tupac and Chris, meaning Tupac and Biggie. Then he asked the Kobe, why did Kobe had to hit that roar? Why did he kiss that whore? I was like, wow, he's touching on some heavy topics. But this the line right here that got him in hot water. Why did Bush knock down the towers? Now, at that time, Bush was a villain. And people looked at it like 9/11 was an inside job because of the Fahrenheit 9/11 that came out. The world was changing when it came to information. Around this time that you had Passion of the Christ coming out, you had Kanye West leading a new form of movement. A whole lot of changes. The Chappelle Show was out. A lot of people were asking questions. A lot of people were demanding answers. And this joint here got that line right there, put Jadakiss in a lot of hot water, because that had radio stations refuse to play the song. That either that or they beeped out Bush's name. You had Bill O'Reilly, bitch ass. He was out there complaining about it. It was a whole lot of heat off that line around. Then he asked a lot of relatable questions, like why did Aaliyah had to take that flight? Why they stopped letting niggas get degrees in jail? Why do niggas lie at 85% of their rhymes? Why they let the Terminator win the election? Why Halle had to let a white man pop her to get an Oscar? He was asking some heavy questions. Why they didn't give us a cure for AIDS? Why my buzz in LA ain't it like it is in New York? Now he's touching on the lack of unity in New York City. It is still prevalent today. Like, come on. Why all the young niggas is dying? You see it today. Let me see what else he said. Like, come on. Then he had the remix, which was crazier. This is at the time where people were actually stepping up and asking the questions that we want to ask at the culture. He had Nas up there. He had Common up there. He had Styles P up there. And that was dope as well. Like, one of my favorite verses from Common was when he was talking about why did Justice sell out Janet and go to the Grammys. That's what I'm talking about, man. This is the type of gems that hip-hop need to go back to, man. Especially in this day and age now. People need this type of content. So, ironically enough, Jadakiss jumped out of his comfort zone to put this song out, and it ended up being a home run. It pushed him to platinum. See, it goes to show you when you talking to the people, because he already had Time's Up. Time's Up was cool, but it was standard Jadakiss. And somebody was probably like, yo, Jada, you gotta hit the people. They can't relate to a lot of this fantasy shit. So he came out with Why, and you got in the mud with the people. So salute to him for that. So that's my thoughts about Why. Check it out off the Kiss of Death album. This is King Eric signing out for the night. Holla.